So as Kevin alluded to, I'm on the board representing the Society for Redox Biology and Medicine. Next slide, please. Our mission statement, we were established in 1987, a professional organization comprised of scientists and clinicians investigating free radical redox biology, a unifying theme in the pathophysiology of human diseases. We have not always been named the Society for Free Radical Biology and Medicine. We started off when I was a young research assistant, and actually I think Kevin was an assistant professor at Iowa, and we were called the Oxygen Society of all names. And then this lady had the audacity in Chicago to come up with a television network called the Oxygen Network. Some Oprah Winfrey lady. So we had to change our name. We changed our name to the Society for Free Radical Biology and Medicine, and then in a branding attempt and in a stepwise process, we changed it from Free Radical Biology Medicine to Redox Biology and Medicine. Hopefully, and someday we will just be Redox Biology. Next slide, please. So we primarily, but not exclusively, represent redox biology investigators in North and South America. That's the meat and potatoes of our society. We are comprised of about 1,200 members. And our investigators conduct research in the following disease sectors, everything from aging and cancer, as you can see, to metabolism and neurodegenerative diseases. Next slide, please. As far as meetings are concerned, we host 2 educational conferences per year. One is a regional redox biology symposium that we move around geographically and strategically to try to place this symposium in places that are adjacent to, but kind of out of the reach of our major tertiary medical centers. So it's used as a recruitment tool, but also to disseminate information such as our annual conference. Our usual attendance is 100 to 200 people for the regional and 400 to 500 for our annual conference. And it has always been held in the week before Thanksgiving. As you can see, our conference this year was in Orlando, Florida. Next slide, please. One of the driving missions of our meetings, of course, the dissemination of science, but we have a tremendous focus on supporting young investigators. And it's one of the reasons that a lot of people that have some sort of interest in redox biology are drawn to this society. As you can see here, over the last 20 years, we've put out over $500,000 in training awards, either travel or young investigator awards. Next slide, please. So there are 10 new awards that we generated created in 2022. 5 of them are targeted towards DEAI travel awards. Trainees from underrepresented communities in science or marginalized or intentionally ignored entities in society. Next slide. The other 5 are targeted towards our colleagues in South America. We have a tremendous outreach to South America and a tremendous population of scientists in our society's membership that are from Uruguay, Argentina, Brazil. And this was some outreach to them to try to elevate their presence and to support their students and trainees. Next slide, please. Another meeting that's coming up to draw your attention to is a collaboration between FIU, Cleveland Clinic, and SFRBM, a joint translational research symposium centered on infection, cancer, and inflammation. Just wanted to bring that to your attention. It will be in Port St. Lucie, Florida, March 16th and 17th. Next slide, please. And our annual meeting for 2023, we're really excited about. We have good cadre of collaborators and members in Montevideo, Uruguay, which is adjacent to Punta del Este. And our current president, Francisco Lorindo, from Sao Paulo, Brazil. We decided, and I was down a few years ago checking out the venue, visiting Rafael Radi and some colleagues, and we were able to find a venue in Punta del Este, and we will be having our annual meeting November 15th through the 18th in this resort community about an hour east, right on the coast from Montevideo, Uruguay. Next slide, please. So as far as journals go, our flagship journal since the 80s has been the Yellow Journal, to your right, my left, Free Radical Biology and Medicine. Several years ago, we expanded to an open access journal, Redox Biology. 2 years ago, we expanded again to another open access journal offering advances in redox research, where I serve as co-editor-in-chief. And in this calendar year, 2 more journals came on board, and we'll speak about these journals a little more specifically in the next couple slides. Next slide, please. So given a little metrics on FRBM, it's a mid-range impact factor of 8.1 with a 12.3 site score. Our open access journal, however, has a little bit better impact factor, close to 11, 6.4 site score, which puts it in the top 10% of all biochemistry and molecular biology journals worldwide. And the journal that I'm associated with at the editor level is yet to receive an impact factor, of course, because it's just 2 years out. Next slide, please. And in this calendar year, we came up with redox biology and muscle physiology in sport, and a redox biochemistry and chemistry journal, and both new this year. So be on the lookout for those. And I should mention that all of these journals are collaborative efforts between the Society for Free Radical Biology and Medicine and the Society for Free Radical Research Europe. So in most cases, except for our flagship journal, all of our open access journals have co-editors in chief, one in Europe and one in the United States. Next slide, please. So we're very excited about and continue our advocacy for redox research at the national level. And this has been buttressed tremendously by our membership in FASEB. Listed here is our presence in FASEB on the board of directors, Science Policy Committee, and the DEI committee. Next slide, please. So I just wanted to drive this point home as the value of being a FASEB member and an example of how this has been able to position the leadership for SFRBM to make a very needed change when it comes to peer review with CSR. Working with Yvette and others at FASEB, we were able to secure a meeting at CSR with our leadership to discuss underrepresentation of redox biology on study sections, and specifically study sections that in their mission statement claim to want and focus on redox and free radical based mechanisms, as well as nitric oxide based mechanisms. Yet when you review their study rosters, there are no redox biologists on their study rosters. This collaborative effort between FASEB and SFRBM was able to secure an audience for us to move things forward and to get our foot in the door. And now they're reaching out to us, looking to put these redox biologists on the appropriate study sections. So this has just been a tremendous value to SFRBM provided by being a member of FASEB. Next slide. Questions? I hope I stayed within my 5 minutes.
Thank you, Eric. Great job. This is really insightful. Questions for Eric? Cherie.
Thank you. I really love that last bit about the collaboration with NIH to find the right scientific expertise for the study sections. I do think that that's a great example that others should consider. Eric, I might have missed this. How many members do you have? But more importantly, what sectors do they represent? Is it primarily academia, or do you have government and non-academic members?
So first part of that question, our membership hovers around 1,200. Are by far primarily academic, yet we do have corporate, and we do offer a corporate membership.
Okay, I think that's good with the focus that you guys have on the early career investigators, that they're exposed to people across different sectors. Thank you.
Eric, you got a question from Karen. Did you see that in the chat?
No, I didn't, but I can pull it right up. Interview has a unifying theme. So the question is, while SFRB investigates redox biology as a unifying theme in pathophysiology, I'm curious if there's a growing focus on redox biology and normal physiologic and biologic functions. I'm guessing the new exercise and muscle journal will have heavy emphasis here. You're exactly correct, and I'm going to pose to our leadership that mission statement be rewritten a little bit, because we do have quite a bit of expertise that is focused on normal physiology, and I'm one of them. I definitely on pathophysiology, but there's a number of us that look at that area too, and that is not represented in that mission statement.
Good. Okay, Mike.
Great presentation, Eric. I found the outreach to Latin America particularly interesting in what you're doing, and I wondered whether your society had considered doing any programming for trainees that would be in dual languages in Spanish, perhaps Portuguese also, as well as English.
We haven't considered that yet. That is something that we should consider. We do partner with and support meetings that are both in Portuguese and in Spanish, even at the same meeting. So it might be a 50-50 split between people coming from Brazil into Argentina, and we'll support a regional meeting there. But I get your point, and that's a really neat idea.
All right. Thank you again, Eric. Great job. This is very insightful.